Good Sunday afternoon to everyone out there. Welcome to Randall's Weather Page. Today is going to be a very short video. I just want to go over model trends with you. It's very important when you hear stuff like GFS and Euro and Icon. It's very important to not only look at each individual model, but also to look at some trends and what the trends in the models are saying. But before we get to that, hey, do me a favor, go down, hit that subscribe button, make sure to ring that bell, and make sure to get notified first whenever these videos come out so you can be in the know. You can keep your friends, your family, your co-workers, your neighbors, keep them all in the know. So far, 95 subscribers. Absolutely love y'all. Thank y'all very much for subscribing to my page. Everybody else, jump on board, man. Absolutely jump on board. Want to keep you informed. Remember, no hype, just looking at the weather as it is. By the way, I have a Patreon site that is in the description. It's more information. I talk about more weather than just tropics. And if you just want to, throw a little donation my way, I have a Buy Me a Coffee site down in the description also. Go keep the coffee going in me so I can keep this going, all right? Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. But let's get into model trends. The first one I'm going to show is the European. I'm showing you on each one of these models, I'm showing you the last 4 runs that each model does. It's important to keep up with the trends, not just one run, but 4 runs, 6 runs, 8 runs, and see exactly how each model is starting to read out what the atmosphere is saying to it, and how it's deciphering the atmosphere, how the model is deciphering the atmosphere. If we go on to the European, notice I've in every one I've picked out hour 108. So for Thursday is what I've picked it out of, except for one. We'll get to it. So go to the latest model run, hour 108, which is Thursday. So I'll pick out that period of time, and then I'll show you what each model does for the last 4 runs and what the model trend is telling me. So we'll watch it for the European. It starts out at hour 216. What I'm looking for is positioning. Okay, positioning. Does it change much from last to most up to date? So this is 144 is most up to date right here. Notice the trend is pretty much the same. This backs it up and is not as powerful. Notice this high pressure though. This high pressure it has sitting off, the European has it sitting off to the east. And in the last one, this one right here, it has it even further north and east. Oops. So that would back this off further east, north and east. So here's what you would see. This is that yellow 20% advisory they have off the East Coast. Notice it has it in the model run number 4, but when it gets to model run number 1, which would be the latest, it doesn't have, the European doesn't have anything sitting off the East Coast. So the main thing I take notice of is positioning of each individual storm, or each individual storm, and then where the high pressure is. And the last run of the European has the high pressure almost all the way up, the center of the high pressure almost all the way up in England. That is an outlier, okay? Let's move to GFS, okay? 126, let's see, 126 to 108. Notice the storms, the general direction is a little bit more north and a little bit more west. Notice has high pressure system though. Pretty consistent with it being off the New England coastline. So not over here where the European model has it, but over here in the Western Atlantic. And your storms pretty much stay generally in the same location, just move a little bit north and a little bit west on each of the storms. Notice over here, GFS doesn't have anything really in near the coastline and nothing in the Caribbean or in the Gulf. It does bring off another wave though. The latest run has a wave already off of Africa. This is the new GFS, the GFS Parallel. Notice the GFS Parallel is very similar. okay? It moves, starting off, it moves it almost back to exactly where it was before. That's 108 hour right there. So the storms are pretty much back to where they were 4 runs ago. Okay. Notice a high pressure system, almost exactly like the GFS, right a little bit closer to North America. So the GFS, both GFSs have the high pressure system sitting over almost over the Americas. Once again, not over here like the European does. And once again, 1, 2, 3 storms. Nothing in the Gulf, nothing in the Caribbean, nothing off the East Coast. Now, this is for Thursday, okay? Thursday, the 12th. Let's go to the icon. The icon, for the last couple of runs, does show at least a tropical wave. It's only 3 runs for the icon, but it does show the last 2 of the 3 have a system sitting off South Carolina and North Carolina. So I do show something there. Notice the storms. Let's look right here. The storms, they move them back, okay? So they move it back east on both storms. Back east and about the same height. Move this second storm up, but this storm stays about the same height. Let's look at that high pressure system. Look at this high pressure system. Almost like the GFS. So the icon's almost just like the GFS right there. Not over here, over here. That makes a huge difference on where these storms could be. Huge difference in how far north these storms would go. All right, let's take it a step further. Let's go to the GEM model. GEM model, once again, high pressure. A little bit further north, but almost in the same position as the icon and the GFS. Okay, nothing really over off the Atlantic coast, nothing in the Caribbean, nothing in the Gulf of Mexico, but 3 storms. Okay, this last run of the GEM has 3 storms, 3 waves. But notice the positioning on these storms. The GEM has it much further west. Okay, so that's something to keep your eye on right there. Very interesting to see. And notice the high starts off here. The high's backing on the GEM model. The high is backing off north. So the storms are going further west in that scenario. But just like the GFS models and icon model, 3 storms. Okay, I think I have one more here. I have 2 more. The NavGem. Okay, I really don't pay attention to the NavGem. It's usually off. Okay, but even with the NavGem, it's the same as the GEM. The high pressure, I like the GFS, the icon, everything but the European model. And notice the last run, further west. Further west. The NavGem has the high moving off to the east a little bit on the last run, but has this storm moving off to the west. Notice it doesn't have 2 storms. It kind of has one right here and one right here, but doesn't have them as, depressions or anything. They're just waves. But I'm noticing these last couple of runs, some of these models have a little bit further west on your leading storms, and something to pay attention to. The last one, I also love the Japanese model. The Japanese model does good early in sniffing out storms and directions of storms. If you pay attention to the Japanese model, they're usually long range out. They're pretty decent. The Japanese model is pretty decent in showing where storms could be. Once again, let's look. It started with the high pressure over here 3 runs ago. Look where that high pressure is at. Pretty much where the GFS, the icon, the GEM, all here. So once again, your European with a high pressure over here is definitely the outlier. And notice with the Japanese model, first run has your leading storm more north and east, and now the storm is more west, south and west. So that's the general trend of the models is the storms. Notice the storms. Most of the leading storm is in this area right here. So a little bit further south and west than just 4 runs on almost every single model that I've shown you. So the trend for at least Thursday has been the storms moving a little further south and a little further west. Even more reason for the East Coast and Florida to keep aware of what's going on, because the trends in the models, if you look at it this way, the trends in the models are having this high pressure entrenched off their eastern seaboard, okay, and having these storms a little bit further west and south. Very interesting. That's part of the way that you have to view models. You can't just take one single run and say, this is what's going to happen. You have to look at the trends in the models, and then you have to take meteorology concepts and apply them to that outcome. And that's why we still have meteorologists, and we just don't depend on models. The meteorologist then has to take these trends, have to apply what they have learned, and then they have to make a forecast. If I was working somewhere as a meteorologist, my forecast would be, okay, for Thursday, my models are showing me a little bit south and a little bit west. So I'm going to have to pay attention after Thursday and see if the models pan out for this hour time frame, how close the models pan out when Thursday hits. Okay. Until then, if my models are pointing south and pointing west, then my forecast has to point a little south and a little west of what's going on. So I say all that to say this: your model trends south and west, your high pressure off the eastern seaboard, and then your storm south and west. So I am still keeping Florida and I'm keeping the East Coast on a watch list. Okay, I'm watching it still. I'm not said that all these are going to be fish storms. I can't say that. My model trends don't say that. They're still saying, even out to Thursday, things are still moving south and west. So eastern seaboard, Florida, you don't need to let your guard down. You still need to pay attention, because the model trends are showing that you need to pay attention. Not just one run, but 4 runs on all these models are still showing pretty much the same thing, south and west on your storm locations. And then you just have to start questioning, when will the turn happen for these storms, or will the turn happen with these storms? That's just that's how I see it. That's what the models are telling me. Don't let your guard down. We'll see how this pans out. And once again, thank you for visiting my page. I greatly appreciate it. Stay in contact. Once again, subscribe, ring that bell. You can go visit my Patreon site. That's in the description. You can go buy me a cup of coffee, which is in the description. And then also left some links to some places I really like to visit every day to help me with my forecasting. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.